Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. We've just entered into a new month, the 1st of July. And maybe you've started noticing in your life recently that events in your life are becoming much more synchronized. Have you started noticing more synchronicities in your life? Maybe you're recognizing that things are lining up and you're receiving more necessary tools to level up and get to where you're meant to be. So those may be information which can empower you or acknowledge you or just provide you certain important lessons. Those may be events which may lift you up a little bit, or events which may confuse you a little bit, or which may get you into a state where you look at it as a certain issue. The reason for that is so you would learn to overcome those lower emotions, because there's nothing good and bad, right? But only our approach towards what's happening, and everything around us is truly pushing us into a level of acceptance and into a level of greater consciousness, where we start celebrating ourselves and we start celebrating each other as a part of this journey of self-realization, once again, to self-creation, right? So I want to give you an intuitive energy update right now. As you may notice, at the June 28th, the planet Neptune went into retrograde, and it will be in the retrograde until December 3rd. And it is 25 degrees in Pisces, a truly intuitive sign, emotional sign. So what is also happening as the Neptune planet is, it is a mystical planet, a planet of intuition, imagination, compassion, empathy, spirituality, dream worlds, astral realms. It is important to understand right now that that spiritual aspect of life will be much more intense right now. So you may sense an increased intuition. You may sense like you want to wander a little bit in your imagination to find greater solutions, because the world is craving masters which can bring greater solutions, and you are that potential of a master. The question is, what are you doing? Are you waiting changes, or are you creating changes? Because I see many people are waiting for example, the certain awakening. Many people are waiting things to manifest. Many people are waiting that something will happen and we will automatically spiritually awaken. A great awakening is happening, yes, but we are creating a great awakening when we start awakening ourselves, when we start embodying the essence of who we are, which means that we start letting go of what is pulling us out of that natural state of existence or of being. And the shadow side of ourselves has a huge part here. Because of our shadow side, we are experiencing unnecessary fears. Not that all fears are unnecessary, but for example, fears which may cause social anxiety, what people will think about us, the need to judge others, and so on. Those are unnecessary fears which we've adopted from the society, and now we are like breaking from those limitations slowly. And you may find yourself in the middle of that process right now, which may feel like you still may experience, for example, that social anxiety, or you still may experience some fear when you're thinking about certain dreams you have for the future, but you're afraid that it may not happen, or that you're not capable of doing that. But still you sense that spiritual essence of yourself, which is kind of whispering you got this, you can do it, just keep it up. The only failure is when you quit. It's the only failure. So if you will not quit, it means that you will evolve, that you are evolving. Every step you make, you're evolving. So the negative side of that Neptune is that it may cause some indecision, like you may feel hard to decide what to choose, so you rather don't decide anything. And many people, if we get too much just into that spiritual essence of life, too much, like we completely unground ourselves, it may lead us into a self-destruction behaviors because suddenly we feel alienated on this world. So it's important to tap into your spiritual essence and then ground yourself so you can download that wiser you into your body right at this moment in this physical plane, and then express that. So this is so important, my friends, because it's so, like, I think it's not so hard to get into meditation and to explore that mystical side of life. Like, if you're familiar with meditation, you probably like to do that. Of course, meditation may be unpleasant for people which are not meditating so much, and if you're new to meditation, you may try it for 5 to 10 minutes, and at the end you may experience a beautiful sensation of peacefulness. But when we go too deep into that spiritual aspect, we sometimes may unground ourselves. And that may happen to many empaths when they feel like they don't want to hang with people, or like they don't want to express their authenticity, their truth. It may happen. It's important to ground ourselves and to truly recognize those fears, those unpleasant sensations, and slowly acknowledge them, slowly accept them, and slowly overcome what you feel that there needs to be overcome. And the energy right now is actually truly encouraging us to embrace the clarity in your life, in all aspects, especially in the spiritual side of life. So, to me, clarity is a gateway to the truth and cure for the illusion, truly. Because once we get clear on how we see our life, we recognize that we see the life completely differently than anybody else, until we start recognizing the truth, right? Once we start recognizing the truth, whatever the truth is, we may see that people which are also seeking that truth, they may see through the lens of illusion. They may see above the illusion, or how to say, they see past the illusion. And that's where we get in common with that new perception and new awareness. So, my friends, embrace clarity in your life. In Native Americans, for example, in Native American cultures, they were observing their dreams really deeply. Every single morning, they sit together and they were talking and discussing about dreams they were having. Because dreams may tell us so much about our subconscious patterns, what is happening on that subconscious level. And as I mentioned, planet Neptune has a huge part when it comes to our dreams. So you may experience that dreams may be more vivid right now. And when dreams are vivid, it feels like we're living, like there's another life happening while we're dreaming. So in the morning when you wake up, write that down. Write down what you're experiencing, what you were dreaming about. Because you may experience some deep subconscious patterns, which may help you to recognize more about yourself. Like why you're thinking that way, what caused you to have that kind of imagination, or maybe some desires or some some deep knowingness that may come from your dreams. Often we may experience answers to our deepest questions in our dreams. Sometimes we forget something in our daily life and then we dream about it during the time we sleep. And if we learn to remember our dreams, which is a great practice to write your dreams down in the morning, will help you to gain greater clarity over that life. Then meditation will help you to gain greater clarity over your thoughts and emotions. Truly important, because all the misery or all the suffering is truly happening because we don't know how to look on life through greater clarity. So we don't know how to set intentions, we don't know what kind of intentions to set. And without a clear intention, it's difficult not to get distracted, right? So we need clear intentions to know what we're following on in a day, what is motivating us, what is inspiring us. So another important thing is to reflect on your motivation. For example, what is motivating you right now? Is there something physical, maybe something you would like to achieve? Or is there more like a feeling? Are you motivated to experience more joy in your life? And you're doing things that you're doing maybe in your free time to get closer to the point where you will be more joyful. Or whatever is motivating you, gain greater clarity. Recognize, do you want to be maybe financially free? Do you want to be more spiritually evolved? Again, whatever that could mean to you. To me, being more spiritually evolved is that my emotional intelligence is constantly rising. That's to me a great spiritual evolution, to become more aware of how I'm experiencing emotions and that I feel less controlled by my emotions. Also, a great part of spiritual evolution is that we become more aware of our behaviors and we become more true and honest with ourselves. What we say that we will do, we do that. And what we say that we will not do, we don't do it. Right? It's a huge part in spiritual evolution because that's where we start increasing our senses, all different senses. Like maybe psychic senses, maybe seeing a potential future, sensing the energy around us, the energy of the earth and the great cosmos, and we can read the energy, or whatever kind of senses you may awaken. It's all a byproduct of the work that you're doing within yourself. And what we're talking today about is truly getting or being more true and honest with yourself. So you can recognize what you're going through and you're not avoiding the unpleasant sensations, but you rather listen to your body. So the energy of this present times right now is truly, it feels like it's already too late for the negative forces to control you because you're becoming more and more self-aware. And once we become so self-aware that nothing negative is controlling us anymore on a long term, we've overcome the illusion of separation, right? And that's the purpose of the dark times, to awaken the light within you so you can enlighten the darkness. So that's where we come to the term know thyself, right? Know everything about yourself. And Buddha said to know everything about yourself means that you need to forget everything about yourself. And once you forget everything about yourself, you will be enlightened by the universe. That's what Buddha said. But in other words, it means that you let go of false perceptions and false ideas that society taught you to believe. Not that all beliefs are bad, but most of the beliefs may be causing you to overthink things, maybe causing you to not having faith within yourself, not believing into yourself. That's why awareness over our belief system and recognizing what is serving us and what is not serving us, so we can let go of what is not serving us, will help us to protect a lot of our energy and will help us to raise our energy to the next level, because we are not wasting it anymore for the things which don't matter. And it's all about awareness. So build your life from who you truly are. Start building your life truly from that state of the truth of who you are, from that essence of being, like heartfelt goals, like heart desires, boundaries you need to set in order to protect your energy for the things which truly don't matter to you anymore. Build your life from that state, and you will recognize that your reality is shifting, and suddenly it feels like you would live in a completely new world. Not that many physical things may change. You may become more maybe financially free or more emotionally evolved, or you may experience a greater emotional intelligence or whatever, but you will feel more free. Once you start building your life, not from your ideas of society, but truly from your heart, what feels right. When the purpose of life is not an idea but a feeling, I feel I need to do that. I feel I need to let go of it. I feel I need to change that. I feel I need to go there. I feel I need to talk with that person. Right? A huge difference. Because often even many spiritual concepts for many people may be more intellectual. Like, I need to think that way. I need to believe into that. I will only manifest if I will do this and that. Right? But as we're evolving, we're recognizing that it's more about feeling it. How I feel when I'm the most authentic. How self-confidence feels like, so I can embody it even when I'm not truly aligned with it. How it feels like, because those are truly powerful questions. How self-confidence feels like, how it felt the last time where you were truly in that confidence, how it felt like when you were truly inspired to do something, because that's where your heart is guiding you. So it's all about feeling, not so much about intellectual knowledge. Of course, knowledge can help us then to direct ourselves, but firstly we need to feel it, right? We need to be inspired. That's why clarity about motivation is so important, to recognize what is motivating us in our lives. Am I motivated by making this world a more brighter place, a more colorful place? Am I motivated to uplift my family? Am I motivated to heal that person? Or, to truly gain greater clarity over what you're doing and why you're doing it. Also, you may recognize, as in these times right now, powerful shifts are happening in the way that we may recognize that our worst enemies are becoming our greatest teachers, or maybe even our friends. Have you noticed that sometimes people with whom you had a hard emotional relationship, eventually you've learned so much from that relationship that you've become a completely new person. You've started appreciating people more. You've started expressing more compassion, because often when people hurt us, we learn what not to do in relationships, right? So we become more loving, more compassionate, and suddenly it changes us. And we say, oh, I'm so thankful for that person which taught me who not to be, or how not to treat each other. So your worst enemy, maybe, if you look on life that way, may be your greatest teacher, and that's a huge shift. Again, that's where we recognize a purpose of dark moments, to enlighten us. And all we need to find is meaning. All we need to find is meaning. Why does things happens or happened? Also, acknowledge your strongest issues and learn to resolve them. So powerful, because we may see like certain events as issues that we're experiencing, but by learning to resolve them, we learn to overcome emotions. Because sometimes we feel like, at the beginning I mentioned social anxiety, it may be an issue. But at the same time, we may question why we feel that. What kind of emotions are right now telling me that I should be afraid of that? Or that I should be perfectly perfect in that relationship, or whatever it is. We start questioning ourselves. Maybe we can recognize, oh, because my parents were like that, or because my environment was like that, or whatever. And eventually we dig so deep into ourselves that we recognize, well, I don't want to be controlled by those emotions anymore. And that's where we step to the next stage and we do what we're afraid of. We do what we are afraid of, to recognize how empty the fear actually is. How empty the fear is. Which means that we are only afraid of something until we do it, right? Once we do it, we recognize, why I was so afraid of that. Those people are not bad. I love to spend some time with you. Or, whatever it is, it can be anything else. But learning to resolve what we observe as an issue in our life will help us to enlighten a shadow side of us. So it has a lot to do with that Neptune. As a planet goes into retrograde, it may increase more of its, or let's say it may increase more of your shadow side, the shadow side of your spiritual self, and the negative emotions, and maybe the negative beliefs that you're still holding on. Or sometimes you may wander in, through imagination into certain negative stories, because our imagination has no limits in positive and negative ways. So if we don't truly resolve those lower emotions, we may wander in negative ways, and that's where we make up so many negative stories about ourselves and about how our life is and how people see us. And all it is required is an awareness before you start wondering what is motivating you, right? What is truly, like, why you feel that you need to look onto yourself so negatively. Why is that? Recognize that. Learn from yourself. And another thing that I would like to encourage you right now is to reflect your spiritual evolution, because you're evolving so much. As I mentioned at the beginning, you may recognize more synchronicities are happening in your life. You've started manifesting so many new experiences, maybe new books, new teachings, new people, new information, new events, new feelings, new emotions maybe, more joy, more happiness, more beauty, more wonder. Reflect your spiritual evolution. Write down how you're sensing yourself, how you're sensing your life. Is there a difference as 1 year ago or 5 years ago? Can you sense more increased intuition? Can you feel more aligned with your intuition? Can you feel like you feel more guided than ever before? Reflect on that, because it will encourage you and reassure you that you're actually really evolving. Sometimes we have some doubts, and that's how we recognize that actually we're walking exactly the right path, and we're exactly where we need to be. Maybe you can notice that your third eye is awakening, or first eye, or our inner eye, which can help us to see future events, or to recognize the truth, or to read the emotions of others, or to wander, to download greater ideas, to use our imagination for building beautiful things here on these physical realms. You may notice that your energy body may feel more aligned. You may feel a bit lighter. You may feel like your body is healing faster. You may feel like you're becoming more emotional. Maybe your empathy is rising. Maybe your love for yourself and for people around you is rising. Maybe you're accepting more, and you're becoming more conscious and aware of your environment and of your unconscious behaviors, so you can recognize what not to do anymore. Those are like so many different aspects, but it's an evolution of the soul and of your character. So embrace that. And in order to embrace that, you need to reflect it so you recognize what is happening. Truly pay attention to that. And the last thing that I would love to mention with this video is to express what you feel. Express what you feel, because that's truly what is coming from within. Until now, maybe, or until a few years ago, everything in the society, all the conversations and so much of relationships were based on that surface perception. People were talking a bit about their neighbors, about what is happening on the world, and judging and complaining. But now we are recognizing that it's all about expressing what we feel within, how we look on life, what we think about what's happening. Not so we would compete with each other, but that we would understand each other better, right? When you ask someone, how are you? You truly mean it. It's not like just a beginning of the small talk, hey, how are you? But truly, how are you, my friend? How are you doing? How are you moving through these times right now? Because to me, it was always weird, like why we're using a word, how are you, for the beginning of a small talk, but then nobody cares. To me, it was always like, it doesn't make sense. Because I was always honest, like I'm going through this, or this is what's happening. But later you notice that nobody truly answers that question honestly. It's more like just a intro into a certain conversation. So truly express your truth. Find people with whom you can connect on that soul level, because it will help you to evolve so much. Because right now, you see, everything is shifting so much, and we were talking a lot about that. But truly, it's all about raising each other up. Because there's a beautiful saying, and I want to read it to you. Like, as rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruit, the sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you're happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. So it is a truly beautiful saying, and it represents that evolution of our awareness, where we recognize that in order to make other people happy, it is not our job, but it is a beautiful job. And in order to make somebody happier, we need to be happy, right? For inputs, it's often that we think we must make somebody happy, even if we're not doing well. Even if we're feeling down, we are forcing something. But now it is about creating happiness. It's about aligning your life the way you want to live so you can be happier. You find that happiness, the vibration of happiness within you, and you let go of what is kind of anchoring you out of it. What is pulling you out of it, you let go of that. In the past, we've been trained to live how other people said that we need to live, but now we are truly finding our own path, and that's what's happening. So embrace that transformation. Even if it feels like a long journey, it's a beautiful journey, and there's no going back. There's no going back. No negative forces. Nothing can stop you from now on. Nothing can stop you. So embrace yourself, acknowledge yourself, accept what there needs to be accepted, and let go what there needs to be left behind, right? And fully and truly, in front of you is a beautiful month. Celebrate it, celebrate yourself. As we are deep in the summer right now, let's celebrate as the nature is celebrating, animals are celebrating, sky is celebrating, the sun is celebrating, universe is celebrating. Let's celebrate together. Let's live in love and in the spirit of celebration, my friends. This is it for today. I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings and power. Have a beautiful day. Until next time, one love.